Well, hello beauties, welcome back to another video. I told you I'm gonna come back with another video and I'm here. In this video, I am gonna I know you guys probably read a lot of beauty blogs and magazines and everybody's been talking about on Pinterest the new color of the year from Pantone, which is Radiant Orchid. And I know Sephora usually releases a collection based around the color year every year, and I know there's one gonna be coming out soon, so if you're a beauty insider and all that fun stuff, you can get on their list to find out when the colors debut so you can purchase them. However, I know I buy a lot of makeup, and I know a lot of you all buy a lot of makeup, and I thought it would be fun to kind of search my collection already of things that I already own and see what things I can come up with to create a Radiant Orchid type of look. So if you'd like to know what things I use out of my own collection, I definitely challenge you to come on and keep on watching as we go step by step on how I created this eye and cheek look for you today. So in a few seconds, I'll be right back. Alrighty, here we go. First time I'm going to be doing both eyes, so let's begin. Now, I've already primed my eyes, and if you want to know what primer I use, it's the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it's the new one, it's the Anti-Aging Primer Potion. Like I said, I'm 37, and I'm trying to do as much preventative towards anti-aging as I can, and so I have that all over my lid, both sides. And the first product I'm going to start with is the Makeup Forever, and it's the Aqua Cream. And this is the number, I believe it's 17. But I'm going to use my Sigma, and this is just the number F70 brush. I'm sure they have their new numbering, but I'm using this brush as a flat concealer brush in a sense. And I'm going to use that to apply the color on my lid area. I'm primarily using this color to help give the shadow I'm going to be using on top of it just a little bit more of a punch. I love these shadows too because they are waterproof. So if you have oily eyelids, this is a great base to play off of. And we're mainly going to apply it on the lash line all the way up to about the crease area of your eye shape. So wherever your crease begins, we're going to stop right there, okay? And do the same thing to the other side. If you don't have a brush like this, you can also use your fingertips as well to apply on cream eyeshadows. If it's faster and easy for you, go for it. I'm going to grab next my MAC 217 brush, and I'm really just going to grab a little bit more of that cream shadow, not a lot, just a little bit on the tip. And I really just want to lightly blend out the crease. And I'm just slightly moving in back and forth motion, just getting that color up so I don't have a blunt line. Now we're going to move on to the next step, and this is where I'm going to break out my Bare Minerals, and it's the Ready eyeshadow palette, the fourth, or they call it quad, and it's in Dream Sequence. And the very first color I'm going to play with is this really pretty bright purple. That color I believe is called Boudoir. And I want this color to go on kind of intense, so I'm going to use a flat, almost a flat shadow brush, and this is my Sigma. Again, the number has changed, but at the time it was the SS239. I'm sure it's a different number, but we're going to grab a lot of this color by pressing into the palette. And we're going to lightly pack that on, or actually heavily pack that on to the area of the eye. See how pretty that is? It's very gorgeous color. And I'm applying it right on top of the very first shadow. Again, this is going to help intensify that purple. See the difference? Do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to go back and grab my MAC 217 brush, grab a little bit more of that color, and we're going to blend it into the crease a bit. Blending in a circular motions, little tight circular motions back and forth. Just extend that color a little bit ways out. Same thing other side. I'm going to move on using a fluffier 224 brush. I just want to kind of softly blend out this color. There's no shadow on this brush. Just want to softly blend it out. Blending in circular motions. Again, avoiding any demarcation of color transition. And then we're going to really rev up this look. What I like to do next is using the same brush, I'm going to grab the highlight shade. And I'm going to apply this underneath my brow bone. Softly starting from the arch, moving my way out, and then overlapping the color I just applied on my lid. Just so I can have a smooth transition. And then we're going to move on to the creasing details. Using a shorter dome-shaped brush, whatever you may have, I'm going to grab the darkest purple in this palette. This one is called Nightcap. And we're going to begin creating some definitions in the corner of the eye. So I'm just going to tap a little bit onto the tip of the brush. And we're going to tap it in the outer corner of the eye. Just like that. And we're going to begin to blend it into the crease. And a rule of thumb, I recommend when you're working with deeper colors to apply your concealer and foundation last, because you will get a little fallout with this shadow palette. Not that the shadows are bad, it's just the nature of the shadow to fling around on this type of brush. And you see how it's starting to build a little definition out in the outer corner of the eye. That's what we want to create. And mind you, everybody's eye shape is different, so really go by your eye shape. Do the same thing to the other side. And you notice I'm kind of blending in a V shape, for my eye shape at least. And then I'm going to begin to drag that color a little bit further into my eye area. Just like that. And if you want it more intense, go ahead and add a bit more. And then for me, I like to make this a little bit more intensified. And so I'm going to be using another eyeshadow other than what's in this palette here, at least for the top portion, and then we'll transition down to the lower lash line. But what I like to do is take one of my favorite matte black shadows, and you guys, if you watch me for a long time, you know it's Sugar Pills Bulletproof. And I'm going to take a smaller dome-shaped brush. This is a NARS number 12 brush. I'm going to take a little bit of that matte black shadow, and I'm really going to define the outer corners just to make the purples appear like a little darker. And really emphasize that crease area of my eye. Begin at the lash line and then kind of wing it out in the outer corner of the eye. And then begin to move that shadow inward along the innermost portion of your crease. Now what I'm going to do is switch back to a dome-shaped brush just for blending. Just want to blend out the outer corners of this look. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean up around my eyes so we can start playing underneath very shortly. What I'm doing right now is just going back with the very first highlight shade here, and I'm just redefining that highlight and also softening out any edges to again get rid of blunt edges again. To clean up underneath my eyes, I just like to use my Neutrogena wipes. I keep them on my makeup station at home. But I'm just going to get rid of some of that fallout and also clean up along the side so I get like a nice crisp edge. See what I'm doing there? Much better. We do the same thing on the other side. and clean up. So instead of using like the shadow shields or stuff like that, I just basically stick to this. It's fast and easy, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. And I keep this handy just because I need to clean a little bit more. So now, the lower lash line. We don't want to keep the lower lash line, I call it naked, right? So what I'm going to do is take an angled brush. I'm going back to that palette I was playing with before. And what I'm going to do is grab the darkest shade here and begin to line the lower lash line. So I'm going to take a little tap of the eyeshadow. We're going to line the lower lash line with this angled brush. I'm going to start from the outer corner and then move my way inward. And don't forget to connect the line in between. If you tend to have more oily eyelid or lower lash line, I recommend applying your eyeshadow primer underneath just so this lasts longer underneath. But I just want a little pop of color underneath. It can be as thin as you want or as thick. It's really up to you. And then the next thing I'm going to do is grab the very first shade I played with, which is Boudoir. With the same angle brush, I'm going to line the inner corners of the eye. And just make sure I kind of cross over so I have a smooth transition. So you have a little burst of purple in the center of the eyes. I love that. Now since I'm really dark in the outer corners of the eye, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit more of Sugar Pill's Bulletproof Shadow with my angled brush, of course. And I'm really going to keep really close to my lash line just so I end up with a little bit more of a dark edge in the outer corner. So it's almost kind of an ombre lower lash line look. And then at this point, I go ahead and grab my favorite eyeliner and lashes. Lashes, I'm going to resort back to my good old faves, Red Cherry number, it's been a while, 415. I also like the number 43s from LaMadeline.com. But the liner I like to use is the Stila. And you can't really see what it says, but it's a Stila Stay All Day eyeshadow or liner, waterproof liner. I like it because it has a little short Sharpie point. So it's really easy to glide this across the eye area. But I'm going to go ahead and line the eye real quickly. If you like to add a wing to it, go for it. I'm not going to really do a very blunt wing on the edge. So we have both of the eyes lined. And now I can move on to adding my favorite lashes. Okay, I have my lashes on, and now what I did while I was off camera, I went ahead and added my Urban Decay, and it's getting so tiny. I did the Zero liner, and it's a black liner. I put it in my waterline. And then what I'm going to do last, now that I have my lashes on, I'm going to go ahead and use my Peter Thomas Roth, and it's the Lashes to Die For mascara. I love this mascara. Now, my lashes are not as big as fabulous as these false lashes are. So when I do wear my own, I love the wand. It's nice and spiky and helps separate my lashes. But I use this literally to blend my lashes into the falsies. And I also use it for my lower lash line as well. So now that I have my lashes done, I'm going to zoom out and just show you the products I used on the rest of my face. Okay, so welcome back. Now to finish the rest of my face, I decided to use my Kat Von D concealer, the Lock It Tattoo cover. The Lock It Tattoo Concealer. I can't talk. This is in shade number 34, and I use that really to conceal underneath my eyes, any red spotting on my cheek area, for I do get some of that from time to time, especially when it's a time in the month and it's that time. Sorry, too much information, but that's what I used there. Dropped something, don't know what it was. To finish that off, I use my I use my Makeup Forever, and this is the Pro Finish Powder in number 73. Part of my beauty favorites of 2013. And for my blush, if I put any more on, you guys are gonna be like, stop, don't do any more. But for my blush, I use the NARS, and it's called Doucer or Doucier. It's a really nice pinky or brown pink, I want to say, and I just really applied it in my areas of my cheek here. I don't really have a really high defined cheekbone, so I have to create it. And then for my lips, I'm kind of undecided what I'm going to do for the lip area. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and play with, for the Radiant Orchid look, I'm going to play with MAC, and it's the Up the Amp. It's kind of in that orchid color. And I'm also going to use the NYX, and I don't know if they still make this one, but this is NYX in Prune Lip Liner. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips. And I like to slightly fill in my lip line so I don't end up with a really defined edge. I like to have a gradient liner before I apply my lip color on. Now for this look, you don't have to, since the eyes are pretty fun and bright, you don't really have to go for the matchy eye and lip color combo. I just decided to do that in this tutorial. If you don't want that look, you can more than certainly keep the eyes a more focal point of your look and use more of a nude or a flesh tone lip color instead. I just opt to go all out, but I'm going to go ahead and apply this on. But I just love MAC's Up the Amp. This is a perfect fit for Radiant Orchid, and I will post other additionals you can use on your on my blog for other options to the Radiant Orchid, even though it's not quite out yet. But I thought this lip color would be perfect as a kind of knockoff of Radiant Orchid for the new color of the year for 2014. So I hope you enjoyed this look. I have fun creating it. It's the first tutorial I've done in a while, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, if you'd like to have a list of other products I used in this tutorial, I will definitely post the link to my blog, and there will be a blog post about Pantone Color of the Year Radiant Orchid, and it will list all the colors I used in this tutorial. So with that said, I hope you guys again enjoy the tutorial, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I can't wait to see y'all in another video. Talk to y'all later. Bye.